Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Rob Baer, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher and Wyatt Turk. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Yo, what's up?
I missed everybody in Vegas. I hope you had fun.
Everybody in Vegas missed you. Like literally everyone. Some weirdos I met on the street.
they weren't asking specifically about me, I assure you.
I mean, they had your description locked in.
Yeah, dude, it was wild. Like this group of supermodels came up and they were like, "Where's Rob? We waited all weekend to see him."
We heard he fucks.
He didn't make it out, and they were so disappointed.
None of those statements are true at all.
It's 100% true. Can't prove it didn't happen.
I met some hobos behind the Target that said the exact same thing. Yeah, so we weren't on the air last week. We were all traveling to Las Vegas Open 2022, the end of a season, the first LVO since lockdown. It was amazing.
Wait, did you tell them I was going to be at Cherokee and Adepticon? You told them, right?
I did, yes.
Okay, good.
A bunch of people were actually asking about it.
Yeah, like that group behind Target. I told them you'd be there.
Right,
they were like,
excellent.
That's
because people wanted to go to Cherokee, but they didn't know because it's kind of a drive. Like the resort is kind of a drive from the airport, and I made sure to double check with Frankie because there was rumors that there was going to be a shuttle service from the nearest airport. And
dude, that's like a 4-hour drive from the nearest airport.
Well, I guess there was one within an hour that people were looking at. I don't know the area.
Let me consult the internet.
Rob is going to pull out his almanac and shit.
It's not. There's the resort doesn't have a shuttle to the airport.
No, it's really far. That's why I was like, yo, you want me to pick you up? Because it's kind of far.
Well, yeah, that's the plan.
No, he's just going to roll over there by himself. The fuck? Of course he needs to.
I was just going to bum it. Just have my little sign out with my little bundle and just put my thumb in the air. Hope everything goes well.
That's why he's got the hobo code on his fucking little notepad. It's the unwritten book of the road, man.
I'm sure there's some truckers that still know the secret sigils.
Yep.
Oh, you got to go through Asheville. Okay, do you? Yeah.
Asheville's
figure it out.
Nice.
Asheville is nice.
So it's a blast. Today we're going to talk about Richard Sigler, the champion, the greatest of all time, the GOAT. Talk about some of the new missions and how 40k feels now moving into the new season of Warhammer 40k. It's a highly exciting time. But before we do any of that stuff, let's kick over to my man Wyatt Turk and roll out to his Cave of Wonders.
Would you rather have your y-axis or x-axis be inverted all the time?
Hold on. For people at home who don't know, who can't see me, I'm testing.
Kenny's looking around right now. Yeah.
Like magically inverted?
Yeah.
But is like my whole body or just my eyes?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I gotta test this with my hands now too. Which one is up and down?
Why?
I think that one. I just did some cursory tests and tried to really imagine it.
It'd be like you're flying a plane always.
Yeah, I feel like I can get away with that.
Well, so you think I didn't like this one, but then I thought about it. So it's like if you went to reach up for a cup in your cupboard, you would have to send the impulses in your arm to reach down.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to look up, you'd have to send the impulses to look down, and everything. It's they're both super weird.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's terrible. It's awful.
either one, it would be different.
I think, and how does this interact with the steering wheel?
Well, it depends on which axis you choose.
Well, so if I say up and down, is my steering wheel basically fine?
Yeah, because it's moving it from
unless you're flying
left to right circular.
Now, if I said What about the pedals? Just moving my foot down means I have to like send an impulse to move my foot up.
That is interesting because you are moving. A lot of the body movement is on a pivot.
Is it every single pivoting point of my body?
I think I would have to say yes if it's on the axis.
Yeah.
So I'm fully crippled. I mean, like I cannot function in life. Like
you'd have to
work at it a lot.
Yeah, it's basically a sense, almost, right?
I mean, it's more than that. It's like literally so your brain does everything for you. You look at something and the only decision you make is like, I want to grab that glass of water. Your body does everything. It's automatic. Mm-hmm. Like the amount of like pressure, rotation, like you're not making any adjustments. It's doing everything. You said, pick the fucking water up, bring it in my mouth. Now, anytime my arm crosses the access plane to my inversion, my body is still not ever one time ever going to automatically adjust for that, for this affliction that I have. So forever, you will have to do that consciously, which is not something you do. You don't do that. It would break you. Like this would ruin me. I hate this.
I don't know.
I reject the premise of this fucking would you rather.
Nope. You must choose.
I choose spiders, buttholes, and the Shadow Realm.
Wow,
you have to. Would that affect your pooping? It definitely affects your peeing.
Yeah, dude. Wipe your ass with the inversion. You're going to smear shit all over your balls.
Yeah, I went the wrong way.
Every time.
Yeah, this one's pretty diabolical. Initially, I was like, I cursed. I looked over it. I was like, it's not good enough. But then I thought about it for a second.
Somebody in chat thinks they're a goddamn genius. Gnarl over here. I do left and right, weird mirror glasses. Shadow Realm. Butthole spiders.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing. It's the whole thing.
Spiders.
I think people in the chat are still in this weird thing where like
you can game.
You have to. So like the fun of Would You Rather's is not gaming them. It's
living with your life choice.
Yeah, it's forced to think about a really, really hard decision, right? And so to have fun with the game, you kind of just have to go with it, which is why we have the stipulation you can't game it ever. So, and the genie is omnipotent. So if you even like think about strategizing a way to game it, you're gaming it and then are punished.
See, Lyndon in chat. See, Lyndon, this is a great one. He's like, you still wipe? Get yourself a bidet. Here's the thing. You already own a bidet. Not gaming it. I go out and buy a bidet after I fucking choose the axis. Gaming it.
Yep.
The genie knows why I'm purchasing this. He knows it has something to do with cleanliness. He knows it's 100% so I don't smear feces all over myself because I chose poorly. This one's actually real hard.
Yeah, it kind of is.
So like every pivot point on your body, meaning painting too.
Oh yeah, you'd be a terrible painter immediately.
I mean, I guess like I'm allowed to do weird things, right? So like if I'm painting, like if I start turning my body to the left, real extreme, and change my axis. So if I'm constantly doing this ridiculous movement, it's not gaming it. The genie will be fine with that. He's like, it's stupid. You know what I mean? I didn't buy some special equipment. You know, like I'm like trying to function in the world with my choice, you know, like, so I could still paint, I think. I'd just be really weird looking, you know. Driving, real sketch, I would stop driving. It's not safe.
Oh, yeah. You have to keep, oh, wow.
Really not safe. Think about if you're a pilot. You know what I'm saying? And it already is inverted. You fucks. Your brain is shattered, son. Like,
that's wild.
I can't even pat my stomach or rub my stomach and pat my head at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I could now, though, if shit was inverted.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I do inverted. I have a weird tendency to like.
Raising Rune Lords in chat says short term it would suck, but like long term your brain would adjust. You think it would? You think your brain would compensate?
Yeah, I think you.
It's probably an accurate statement.
I think it'd be okay.
Like how long?
I don't know. You probably have to work at it for a while.
A couple days?
Yeah.
3 days?
Out of people who like lose, if you're like right-handed and you lose your right hand, you have to learn how to write. So you just got to like teach yourself how to do it.
I don't know about that.
Your left hand.
How many weeks in the Shadow Realm would I incur for?
Oh, it's indefinite. There's no coming back.
Oh my God.
That's the whole thing. It's like you can't just, trying to game the Shadow Realm is just it's gaming it too. Like if you go to the Shadow Realm, it's forever.
God. Okay, I do up and down axis.
Yeah. I think I could get used to it eventually. Maybe.
Kara Quinn says, I just stay in bed and drink heavily. Basically, no change in my life.
You dribble all over yourself.
Again, no change to his life.
Oh.
It'd be like that guy in an airplane. He's like, I have a drinking problem, and he just can't get it into his mouth. Keeps constantly throwing the shot into his forehead.
Yep. So which one do you choose, Rob? Left and right?
Nah, up and down.
I feel like that's the best move here.
Yeah.
My God, you know how many times when I accidentally punch, I just realized I was reaching up to rub my forehead. I was like, how many times I'm going to punch myself in the dick by accident?
Or pee up the wall.
Damn. Sometimes I do say it when I pee and I enjoy that. But if I ever hesitate and I choose that to not pee on the wall, I will feel the weight of objectivity reach its icy hand out of my shoulder and threaten the Shadow Realm. Gotta be careful with sitting to go number 1 and number 2. Ooh, I chose up and down. Jerking off gonna be real weird. I might rip my dick off. Oh, so many ramifications.
It's going to definitely present some unique challenges for a lot of things.
All right, up and down. That's my final answer.
Yeah, me too.
Cool.
Good one. I feel like we didn't do any of these last week. Missed you guys.
But I gave you guys a softball last time, so I was specifically looking for a hard one.
And he wants to do. Arthur has a savage one, but he can't do it because I already know it.
I mean, now would be a good time because I know you'd want to hear it. So Arthur brought up a great one, and the reason I didn't want to use it on the show is because I need both of you to be blind.
Oh, just use it on Rob.
Yeah, so Kenny's heard this one. So, would you rather every morning you have to eat fish, and it's the best, highest sushi grade fish delivered to your door, but it's a fish. You have to eat that shit like Gollum.
Savage.
Or breakfast, lunch, and dinner you can only eat at Long John Silver's.
So you'll have to do this one breakfast meal, this high grade, perfectly fresh, curated fish, but eat it like a goddamn savage Gollum, fucking.
I'm not going to do that.
Or breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Long John Silver, the worst place on earth.
I don't know. I've definitely devoured some.
Pretty sure there is not a single thing on the Long John Silver.
And you can't game it. You can't be like, well, I'll just get hush puppies. Nope, because the genie knows. You gotta eat those fucking those fish McNuggets and shit, like all that gross Long John Silver shit.
Yeah.
3 times a day would be pretty rough too. I don't know. That's a rough one.
The chat's almost universally Gollum, I'm a fucking savage, that fucking fish. Through the scales, everything. Bend its little spine in half. You just gotta do it.
Yeah.
It's bad. They're both horrible. But one of them will kill you, man. One of them will fucking kill you. One of them won't.
Yikes. That's just gross.
It's a good one, man.
Gross.
What would you do?
I don't know. I mean, if I didn't have the glutens, I'd probably just do the Long John Silvers, but I have to really consider that.
No risk from food poisoning on this curated magic fish box. It's flawless. It's right from a fucking beautiful river. It's flawless, dude. It's it might even change on you. Might be some beautiful rainbow trout one day. It might be whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The fish died 1 second before you open the box. Like, you know what I mean? Like the magic box.
Yeah, it might be okay then.
But you got to like bend that motherfucker sideways and just savage it. Eat it.
It's a lot.
I don't know if you have to eat the bones, chat. Like, I mean, you just eat it. Like, you don't eat the bones and you don't eat fish. You know?
Yeah.
You can spit out the kidneys and shit. Oh, dude, fish don't have kidneys, right? Like, spit out the organs and shit if you want.
Yeah. You just gotta eat it like Gollum.
You got to cut through those scales. You can spit out the scales. You can tear up the skin. You can spit out the skin. You just got to use your teeth like Gollum does. You got to eat that fish flesh. You can't be dainty about it. Could be a caveman.
Mm-hmm.
Gollum did live a long time on that diet. That's true. Guilty.
Ugh. That's a lot.
Crusher Fool's like, what if I like it, Crusher? You can eat the bones if you want. The genie cares.
Yeah.
Chat's all fish on this. They're all Gollum fish.
Because we all know how vile Long John Silver's is. The fact that that place still exists is like,
shocking.
Dude.
I don't know.
I can't believe it's still around, but it is.
Would the genie accommodate his gluten diet and allow him to eat the fish McNuggets?
No, Genie don't care about my gluten diet or my irrational fear of flying.
Be the same as like mayonnaise. Like you wouldn't get like obese, but you still got to eat it with all the other consequences therein.
You know, I haven't seen a Long John Silver's in a long time either. I'm looking it up.
Dude, I saw one on
They used to
Uber
be next to
Eats
Stoney's
the other day, and I was like, I can't fucking believe there's one of these here.
Store locator. I'm looking it up right now. I'm on their website. Oh god, the
Shoney's
website is like from the 90s, son.
Sure, most of their fish is too.
So yeah, there's a Long John Silver's KFC, Gardenia, California. They're all looks like they're okay. Most of them are KFC / but here's one right here. Here's Bakersfield. Of course, it's in Bakersfield. Ugh. Bakersfield, Long John Silver's. I'm gonna go see what this motherfucking place is.
Still around,
So Dreaded Paints, he's trying to game it. This is what happened. A brand new Long John Silver's would open up across the street from your house. That's what would happen in this situation.
So let me look. Bakersfield, California. There. Oh God. There's a. I'm looking at it. Oh, it's so horrible looking. I mean, it's got the old sign that they put the little. It says all you can eat fish. Sunday, 11
marks.
Literally, this is a modern Long John Silver's. All you can eat fish, 11 to 7 all day.
Oh my god!
Jeez.
It is. I'm looking in a parking lot. It is. There's a super sketchy Rocco's Jewelry. Bunch of places for lease in the shopping center. There's a Ross.
Always buy fish from the middle of the desert.
There's a fucking Halloween store open. Spirit of Halloween, one of those like year-round Halloween stores right across from it.
Ugh. Eesh.
Oh my god. There's a Starbucks across the street. Yikes, don't eat at that Starbucks. Gross. Just yikes.
So many yikes.
Oh man, there's so many better places to eat in this shopping center. This is Mexican place that looks amazing. There's a literal Starbucks right there. Cash Advance place. Might need to get some money. I mean, I would always eat at that Mexican place. I have no idea what the reviews on that Mexican place are. Why would you ever patron this fucking Long John Silver's in this parking lot? It's like one of those, it's like in the middle of the parking lot just being an asshole, too. Where everything else is like built into the strip mall, you know?
Yep. Can't ignore me.
Ugh.
Well, speaking of money, let's talk about some new releases here.
Yeah.
Well, this weekend, going on pre-order will be the new and exciting Eldritch Omens box set, the new Eldar and Chaos.
What'd you name it? The Eldritch Gentleman?
Yep, that's its name. You can call it that. $200 US. It's going to be an interesting. I think a lot of people will be watching that release with bated breath because they haven't had a sell in a while, and they if you look at the value on it, they basically raised the price $30, but it's still the same value as like the other battle boxes that came out. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if it'll sell, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that are really excited about the new models. So we'll just kind of wait and see. And definitely at some point, the rest of the kits will be available separately. But sometimes, that it takes a while. Like I was looking up the new Tal Ethereal that just came out separately. That first appeared in 2015 in the Burning Dawn Crusade box for Tau. That's how long it's been since they had a separate release. Now, I don't think anything's going to go that long in the near term, but you never know when it comes to that sort of thing. So
you don't think anything's going to go that long? Now, every time I heard the word long, I think Long John Silver's.
But we should make a game out of it.
Yeah.
But definitely vote with your hobby dollars on that one. If it's worth to pick it up for your local retailer, go ahead and do that. You might have to get it from GW depending, but there's no allocations on it. So apparently all the game stores are going to have it. So hopefully everybody can get it quicker than sooner rather than later, I suppose. We saw some previews over the weekend. Everything looked good. I mean, the new Eldar Avatar, all the stuff coming for Eldar in general, I think looks great. Kabanda for Forge World, definitely going to be a big chunky resin miniature.
That makes me
no
sad.
idea on price point of any of that stuff quite yet, unfortunately.
That model excites me. It makes me sad in equal measure. I'm excited because it's so cool. Immediately like it's Garbo resin and it'll break into a million pieces.
Yeah, I mean he's probably going to be the same size as Angrath. We got a post going out where we kind of see aside the picture a bit, figure out how big he is. It looks like it's
a Forge World model.
Yeah.
It's the Bloodthirster that Sanguinius duels.
They're 1 for 1.
Oh, okay, the one that
right
you mean like after he kills like a whole bunch of them, goes into the palace, gets into a close quarters fight, and WWF's that one Bloodthirster?
Yeah, basically.
That's his name.
I like your
Kabanda, yeah.
He literally hits him with a fucking spine buster, dog.
Yeah. Drops him from low orbit.
Fucking bonesaw.
Bonesaw.
Also, I don't think the one they previewed is actual Forge World. I think it's a 3D print.
Oh, they all are.
Yeah.
Like you can see.
So the other thing that makes me sad is that like people will think that's what they're going to get, and no Forge World production model will look like that because they'll all be bad.
Forge World has had some quality control issues as of late. 100%. But people keep buying it. So until, if we have a problem, it's best to vote with your hobby dollars, spend your money somewhere else, and it'll get noticed eventually. Trust me. It's getting noticed.
I just bought a Long John Silver's t-shirt.
Now you need a Shoney's one.
Shoney's is actually good though.
Wow. Okay.
You don't think Shoney's is good? What's wrong with you?
Okay.
Is Shoney's like a burger joint?
I can't have their eggs because they add flour. They add
because they're from the fucking south, dog. Yeah, of course they put gluten. They put unnecessary amounts of gluten in everything.
Like, why are you going to put batter in with your scrambled egg?
Like Cracker Barrel. You've seen those, right? Why? Yeah. Okay, so like it's like a breakfast place that exists on the side of every highway in the south, like on the East Coast, that is known for its breakfast buffet, and it is ballin'.
Okay, I gotcha.
Will dismantle. Like every memory you have of it is probably like driving somewhere for like 12 hours.
Oh, I've never been to one.
Like most people. I mean, I don't even know the towns that Shoney's are in are like those towns on the side of the highway. Like it's like that's the only times I've ever seen Shoney's. I've never lived in a place a Shoney's actually existed in. You know what I mean? Like it's always driving through. But damn it.
See.
Get that bacon buffet. Even the bacon is sprinkled with fucking gluten.
Yeah, I can't eat there. It's very, very questionable at best. We saw a bunch of good previews. GW announced, hey, next codex is going to be Tyranids. after Eldar, which definitely brings into question when the actual Eldar book is coming out, because we're already seeing previews. So I imagine not this weekend on pre-order, but perhaps the weekend after it'll go on pre-order, or perhaps closer to the end of the month.
Wait, Rob, did you go to a Shoney's one time and then have a gluten attack because you eat their eggs?
No, I asked because I suspected, but
smart man. I was like, wait, did Shoney's fuck you up? Okay, sorry. Continue.
You gotta be careful. Let's talk about some Kickstarter. So a lot of stuff going on. I want to say that Mini Wargaming's failed Kickstarter is over, but they passed $1 million. So congrats to them. Those miniatures look dope, and they're going to get fulfilled by Lazy Squire Games. So I'm sure they have, if you didn't back it, they'll have open back. It's probably up right now. Also in late backing is Judgment, the board game from Creature Caster, and, of course, Judgment too. They're just doing the minis. And the RTLW Magnetic Heroes, I think, is actually going to be off of late pledging tomorrow on Friday, the 4th. So if you missed out on that one and you want some dope magnetic D&D miniatures or RPG miniatures, agnostic, definitely check that one out, because you won't be able to get that. I'm sure they'll sell them on their site eventually, but who knows what the production is on that. I forgot to look it up, but you can definitely get in on it now. So that one's all pretty cool. Squad Marks was at the LVO showing off the new magnetic terrain in a box set, the Battle Ready terrain. I think it's great stuff. I thought it was cool when it was Velcro. But he went and re-engineered it and got some fully magnetic prototypes, which I thought was pretty dope, with the little crates he had that were magnetic. And I don't know if you guys got to see it at LVO, but I think it's a pretty dope idea for $100. You get a big crate of terrain. And all the objective, markers too, like the mouse pad neoprenes.
That's cool.
I definitely think it's really, really solid value, especially it's like a box that's like this big and it all goes together and you just put it away. Like, I have racks of terrain for no reason, like, other than the fact that that's how much space it takes up. So I think it's a great idea I can see where a lot of folks would really like that. So looking forward to that going into production, because there's a whole bunch of different scales and themes. Now it is funded. It's still got 2 weeks left if you want to get in on it. I think the early bird special is over, but
we're talking Shoney's?
Nope. Shoney's died. Shoney's is dead to me.
I said early bird special, so I was like, So one more question on Shoney's. Why would you ever think to ask if there was gluten in eggs?
Because I've dealt with such bitch-assery before.
Solid.
I kept getting glutened at the local Italian place when I would order.
Glutened as an adjective. I love it.
Yeah, it's a verb now.
It's a verb. Is that a verb? I don't know.
It's active. And I was
do you
like,
write things for a living? How the fuck do you know these things?
I don't know, man. I just try hard. So
the bitch ashery led to you getting glutened.
Yeah.
Mysteriously.
Who would have thought? You ordered gluten-free chicken Alfredo, right? So they don't bake it, they don't fry it, and you get gluten-free noodles, but I'm still getting gluten. And I'm like, how does this keep happening? And they're like, oh, well, we put the chicken in flour so it doesn't stick to the pan. I was like, that is the whole
flour is literally the thing I'm trying to avoid here.
Can you not do that, please?
Oh my God. I'm mad for you. Okay. Now I understand Shoney's. I will drop Shoney's.
I mean, who was like, I'm like, it says gluten-free. Don't fucking put the chicken in flour.
That's a literal thing I'm telling you not to do.
They don't understand what gluten is.
They don't. Got it. Heard that. I drop in the Shoney's thing. Fuck Shoney's.
It turns out just take some Benadryl and pass out for 12 hours and or alcohol. It generally resolves itself. Sometimes it can be painful for a week, but whatever. Such is life. New Eldar free miniature offer at GW store. So if you need an excuse to get out to the GW store, and they also have a new coin if you spend over $100, it's the Oruk War Clans. Just check that out at the GW branded stores here in February. Can you believe it's a new month already? It's like, when did that happen? It's February.
3 days ago.
Wild. I do want to touch briefly on the Book of Boba.
Yes.
Spoiler free.
Spoiler free. Okay.
I know. Well, because it's really good.
It's so good.
But
dude, that last episode, I was like, there's a character that is like one of my favorites from the Clone Wars and stuff. And I was like, oh, it's my boy. What's up?
So here's the thing. Like, it's going to start slow and there's going to be some questionable CGI choices early on. It gets better and you'll see where they spent their CGI budget like later on. So don't worry about it. Don't listen to the internet because everybody was haters, just like the Custodians suck apparently, and they don't. So just make your own opinions over things because Book of Boba is legit. And I can't wait for the next episode.
We were talking to Matt while we were hanging out at LVO and he was like, man, I don't know if I like it. Or I'm like, no, stay the course. Because he hadn't watched the episode that came out before we all went to LVO. And I was like, no, stay the course. Like you gotta like it gets old.
That's how I felt about Mandalorian though. Like I didn't think it was tight until we got past the eggs episode.
Yep.
The 2-parter
Yep.
egg side quest episode. What the fuck? I was like, why does everyone like this show? I waited a year to watch this, and then it instantly got incredible. And so I have faith.
Yeah.
That's so.
Oh yeah, Dreaded Paints knows. Don't say who it is. We don't want to ruin it for people who haven't watched it.
Oh, there's a lot of who it is, and that episode was actually directed by Ron Howard's daughter. Yeah. So she came over from Mandalorian and directed that episode, which I thought was pretty neat.
Well, they have like their team. It seems like that's going to be their team moving forward. Just like directors and stuff. It's
definitely. I think they set up a spinoff or two as well. So we'll see. But stay the course with Book of Boba.
Speaking of TV, you know what else was previewed while we were all away at LVO?
Halo.
A new Halo trailer. And it looks dope.
Supposedly it is, what did they call it? It's not canon with the books.
Yeah, so they came out like a sliver, like a splinter.
Splinter. Yeah, something like that.
So they came out and they directly stated that like, so this show is like, not the mainline continuity of Halo. Like it exists in a parallel universe. And I get a lot of vibes similar to Mandalorian because I was like, we were all wondering like, who's going to play the chief, right? Because you would think that what they would do is hire like a stunt guy to like be in the suit, somebody with like great kinematic, awareness to be like the suit actor. And they would just get the voice actor to be Master Chief, right? But it turns out they hired a pretty well-known actor to be the Master Chief, and that's like his voice. And it sounds like the Master Chief. It's just not exactly the same. It's not the voice actor, so it might seem a little weird, but I'm willing to give it a try. I looked it up because I didn't know who it was, but they sounded familiar, and it's an actor. His name is Pablo Schreiber. He's not like super big, but he's been in a bunch of stuff you've probably seen. He was in American Gods, and he was also one of the guys in 13 Hours. So that was like kind of his first big like movie break thing. So he's been around. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Probably if you saw his face, you'd recognize him immediately. But he's going to be the Master Chief. Very excited for that show. It's going to be super cool.
Yeah, but Cortana's the same, literally. The actress.
Yeah, so they're modeling her off of the actress who's playing Dr. Halsey. So that's why she looks different from the games, is because like in the game world, right? Like the reason Cortana looks the way she does is because she looks like Dr. Halsey when she was a young woman. So they modeled her to look like the actress who's playing Dr. Halsey in the show, which makes sense. It's the same conformity. It just looks different from the games, but it's the same voice actress.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
I'm just reading it right now. That's pretty much all I got for Tabletop Market Watch. Although there was a update to Marvel Crisis Protocol. They just updated the banned restricted list like earlier today. So I don't have all the information.
Affiliations too. I think they updated affiliations as well.
Oh yeah, and affiliations too for the releases that come out on the 11th. So next week we'll get the Juggernaut and Gambit and Rogue and Magic and Colossus packs.
Oh, my boy Gambit.
Oh, shit.
Gonna be dope. So, yep, we got affiliations and new ban and restricted list, which I'm pretty sure they restricted most of the cards that everybody was already auto including since the last ban and restricted update. So it's gonna be interesting where they go with this one. But probably more importantly is that the releases for Marvel Crisis Protocol are now lining up worldwide. They got the supply chain kind of, I guess, under control.
Oh,
and because everything they've basically pushed the new releases are going to be in March, and then all this stuff's coming out in next week on the 11th. But if you have them early, the instructions are not in the packs, the expansion packs. They have QR codes that you scan that, of course, don't work because they're not actually released. So it's kind of like a twofold thing. I mean, obviously you can, if you're in the hobby for any length of time, you can probably put the models together if you got them early, but for some people might not be able to.
I feel like I can build a fucking Marvel model.
There's some weird little slices in there sometimes. There's some weird stuff, but they've gotten better. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for this one. It's been a little slow. I guess everything kind of slowed down with LVO, and now it's kind of springboarding back up.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a week since we left. We all left on Thursday to get there and met up with all our peoples. I had a blast. It was incredibly fun. Every element of LVO was just like heightened sensory overload for me, man. It was so fun. We got to see so many people while we played our championship games, while we TO'd the Long War doubles, and every moment in between filled with just nonstop action and connecting and reconnecting with people. It's amazing. And in this segment, let's talk about something that probably everyone's talking about on the internet right now in podcast sphere is who won this event, Wyatt?
It was the machine.
The machine.
The Professor Richard Siegler, man.
Professor Siegler from Florida in the United States is the world's greatest 40k player.
Yeah.
Bold statement. The
Title
world's
reads,
greatest.
Florida man crushes a bunch of nerds at a convention.
Do you see, like, you guys watch him go up on stage? Like, the dude is, like, the most hilarious dude. He just, like, walks up, just grabs his trophy from fucking Reese, just keeps walking. He's like, yeah, dog.
I think that was, I feel if you did that, it would be, like, confidence. I think for him, he was just, like, maybe he's a little stage shy.
He's a professor.
He was not rude about anything that he did.
I thought it was pretty baller. I thought it was a pretty big dick move.
Yeah, maybe
it's like, so visually, like for those listening, visually, like Kenny was making motions like he was strutting, like head back, like he
elbows high.
Yeah, no, like Richard just humbly walked up, he accepted his award, shook Reese's hand, and then walked off stage in kind of a fluid motion.
It was true. It was amazing to watch the games. He crushed it, man. Like, dude's played 6 GTs, won 5 of them, and one of them being LVO. 4th at 1. He won the ITC Championship Award before he even fought in his last game. It was already over. It was like he's already the ITC champion, and then he played his last game to be the LVO winner. And the guy has put up multiple wins across multiple years, and the quality of his victory is so ballin'. Like this, like I played six GTs, won 5. So for my only 5 scores I'm all to have are me winning GTs, like just walking. Just like what the fuck?
Randy.
What a beast, man. We've had him on the podcast before. He's an amazing guy on top of things, who's also an innovator. Super nice guy. You know, always plays a tag game. So congratulations to him. And Art of War team, they win the best team award, which team. I think most people saw that coming from a mile away. I mean, Yeah. But it was incredible. So let's also briefly discuss before we move on to our biggest meat and potato section. Like, we all know this dude's a gangster. He plays AdMech. He fucking crushes and he fucks with AdMech. Almost like, got it. Yep. What a interesting match, though, from another individual that no one's ever seen or heard of coming out of the woodwork.
Right. So, yes, I saw. So his name is Matt Laura. I hope his last name is pronounced Laura. That's how people were saying it. But I saw a post from him earlier today where he's talking that like this was his first big like outing to a tournament. So because, you know, I had not met him before LVO, had not heard of him for LVO like many people. And Reese made a statement that like, oh, he's only played in like 5 RTTs ever, which it turns out is, I guess maybe that was just like something that he heard because Matt came out with a public post saying that like he had attended Nova before, he'd attended some RTTs before, but he hadn't traveled for events. And he hadn't really tried to go anything like super big like LVO. But that being said, never going to a super major like LVO and immediately rocketing to the final with Custodes, which isn't even his main army. He stated publicly his main army is Eldari. So he's like excited for the new codex to come out so he can play his main army again. But yeah, just like phenomenal performance.
And Shadowkeeper's crazy.
Yeah, let's comment on that. Like,
that was the other wild thing. So like there was a lot of Custodes like repping it out there, doing well. There were 2 Custodes in the top 8 with Matt and Evan Tomchin. And from what I could see, everybody in like the top 50, like they were all running Emperor's Children. Emperor's Chosen. Guys, too many similar naming conventions. Emperor's Chosen.
This one specifically gets me all the time.
Yeah. Not the same list. There was some similar lists. There was a lot of guys who were either like with the Art of War team or sort of like amalgamated with the Art of War team. They were running a very similar Custodes list. There was other people trying different things, but for the most part, it was Emperor's Chosen. Because they're very durable, they're forgiving. It makes a lot of sense, right? They're flexible.
Likes rerolls. I do.
They're flexible and forgiving. Makes a lot of sense. But Matt came in with Shadowkeepers. Shadowkeepers are kind of wily. Like there's a lot of really interesting things they can do. One of the things we talked about when the book was coming out, I really like Shadowkeepers because of their warlord trait and their relic and their stratagem. Their stratagem is great for defense. It's really good for that. And then the Lockwarden warlord trait and the Stasis Oubliette relic are just great for slapping down characters, or just like regular units in general. But being able to deny invul saves when swinging against characters and having the click you fight last ability is fantastic. He was doing some other things that I found interesting. Like he had 3 individual Alaris units, and those are great for secondary choices. And they're going to continue to be a good pick for secondary choices going into the 2022 book. What else did he have?
Well, he had Custodian Guard without Sword and Board, which is against conventional wisdom.
Right. Well, and like we also talked about this a few weeks ago. Like there was kind of a debate. Like, do you want the AP from the spears? Do you want the defense of the shields? Or if you have to choose between spears or axes, again, do you want the AP of the spears, or do you want like the easier to wound roll on the axes? So there's definitely play with a lot of that stuff. He's got, some of the tried and true things like Galatis Dreadnoughts, the Caladius Grav tank. And he's running the Praetorian Plate Alaris relic, which is super fun. I'm glad to see that doing well. So overall, he had Bike Captain, but it was different in that because he's running Shadowkeepers, he was stacking the Lockwarden Warlord trait and the Stasis Oubliette on the Bike Captain, which makes sense because you can kind of like jump lines, target characters with the salvo launcher, deny their
saves. They turn assassins.
Like super, super cool. Whereas with the Emperor's Chosen stuff, you see the Dawn Eagle jet bike just loaded out to the nines with, point upgrades, with the Feel No Pain from Superior Creation. They've probably got the Castellan's Mark, and they've got the Auric Exemplar Warlord trait. So these guys are pretty bare bones by comparison, but still very dangerous.
Something else worth mentioning too is he's doing the bodyguard trick with the wardens. He took a squad of 3 wardens, which has the bodyguard, so they can.
Yeah. Warden, like one unit of wardens was very popular in a lot of the Custodes list that we saw at LVO, because bodyguard is just really fantastic.
Well, you can game it too, which I personally don't agree with. With like you can hide your character and then have these dudes just chilling, or vice versa, whichever suits you at the time, I suppose.
There's a lot of stuff that's creeping up that can ignore Lookout Sir, and we've had to deal with it in the past with drones, and drones was way more impressive. Way worse. Like 3.
And also just having any unit in your army be slightly closer to you than a character, no matter how far away, and how sometimes line of sight works, achieving the same result was way more busted than just this one unit doing it. So though it's not a problem yet, but congratulations to all participants in the top 8, and especially that final game. What an amazing, season ender. Like,
oh yeah, so much fun.
Which brings us to our next segue to our next point. That was the end of a season. Playing 9th edition Warhammer 40k. We got all these codexes coming out. We get the new GT book, new missions, new secondaries, new points, new season. Starts right now, like literally right now.
Yep, we are in the new season, so I'm sure there's going to be a ton of RTTs this month all around the globe, kicking off. Maybe even a couple of GTs, and then we have Cherokee Open here in the States at the end of the month. So the first, at least the first super major in the States that I know of. Maybe there might be a super major in England or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, very exciting with this new GT book. A lot of these deployment zones are going to be very familiar. Some of how the missions work is going to be very, very familiar. Your take and hold stuff is basically copy paste. But the big thing is that each of these missions now has a mission rules section with this sort of like supplementary task or action or condition to go with your take and hold, because now take and hold equals out to a max of 12 per turn. And this extra add-on is how you get to 15. And there's a lot of variation between them. Some of these missions,
right? You still have the same rule, 45 points, right? On primary.
Yes.
And so that's what's kind of interesting is like, so we have primary and secondary still, but primary has another element besides take and hold. So it gets kind of confusing on what's the correct term to use here. So you have like the mission briefing, primary, take and hold, and almost like primary subcategory B, X, read mission briefing. Yeah. And, you can still get to what's 12 times 5? Like 48? Some shit like that?
Yeah, I think
or 12 times 4. So you can still max primary out.
Yeah.
On 12 points a turn, right? A little bit harder.
This is just a way to like make up some points in a way that is not necessarily as passive. And some of these can be downright aggressive. Even like the first mission, right? So it has these mission rules that talks about like priming explosives and defusing explosives with these actions that units can do. And then the addition to the primary is detonation. It says at the end of the battle, each player scores 4 victory points for each primed explosive objective marker that is within their opponent's territory, your half of the table kind of territory, to a maximum of 15 points per player. So it's just a way to equal out,
What I like about it is a lot of these, we have a lot of objectives, 5, 6 objectives.
Yeah.
So it's really easy for somebody who can trade well, like a Grey Knight player, GSC player, et cetera, who can just strangle you, literally stranglehold you, right? So even with the secondary, they can put you in a literal stranglehold on take and hold. And in the past, it's like, well, they're just going to steamroll me on fucking primary. And you just feel like you're losing the game for fucking since the very first moment that dice are being rolled. And this is like a new cool thing that if you're set up for and aware of like these new, primary 1Bs or whatever, these tertiaries, you can undo that damage. You can be like, fine, go nuts, man. I'll get 5 points a turn on primary, on taking hold. And I'll be setting up bombs. Tearing down the icons, son. And that's my main focus now is stopping you and disarming your shit while priming my own explosives in your backfield. And I will get this extra 15 points. Turns out, if I get 5 points a turn, right, 20 points, and I pick up 15 points on this bomb, turns out I maxed out primary at 45 points. Look at that.
Yeah. It's also going to be interesting how people are going to alter their lists to play to this new primary dynamic. And things are going to be a little bit different. Like you're going to have to really read through some of these. For example, some of these missions deny you the auto 1 CP in each command phase unless certain things are met. Like, for example, in this mission Conversion, if your warlord is not on the battlefield or inside of a transport that is on the battlefield, you do not get that 1 CP for being battle forged. So that's going to be a little bit of a playstyle change. And also in this mission, this is one of the ones I kind of like for being different. You have this Corrupted Ground add-on where at the end of a player turn, some of these things can happen. Like you score 4 victory points if you control the objective in your opponent's deployment zone. And you score 2 victory points if you control 1 or more objective in what they consider no man's land. And the other little thing is you lose a command point if you do not control, or not command point, a victory point, if you do not control the objective in your own deployment zone. You can't be reduced.
And it took me a second to understand this meaning, but so like you score your taking hold in the command phase. These are like a secondary end of turn check.
Yes.
So it just like many secondaries as we know them are an end of turn check. Some of them are a command phase check for sure, but like interesting that we have 2 ways of interacting with the objectives on the table at 2 different moments of the game, and one of them can remove points from you.
Right. And just to clarify, because we talked about this in tactics class, and it took you a second. So because the way this reads, you're like, oh, okay, it's end of turn, but some of it is and some of it isn't. So the way this actually works in function is if I have my deployment zone objective and Kenny walks a unit over there and like steals it from me with like an OPSEC unit or something, right? I don't automatically lose a victory point. During my turn, I then have to get him off of that objective.
During your turn, you score taking hold in command phase with me on that objective. Okay, maybe, right. Okay, I only get 5 points. Okay, 10 points or 8 points, 4 points. Then you have a whole turn to react to me, and you better not end that turn.
Yeah, because if he still holds it at the end of my turn, that's when I lose.
Then you're going to lose points. Yeah, it's
not the easiest thing to do, but I do think it's an interesting dynamic to add to this book.
I mean, think about like how many games you played where you basically tabled the guy and he still wins, right? So in a scenario where you basically table the guy and there's 2 more turns of the game, and you're like, I'm going to lose this game by 2 points. Oh no, I'm not. Like, I own your shit. And you know what I mean? And it's like, and so you're draining his points. That's kind of crazy.
Right. And then to kind of combine those 2 new things in the Tide of Conviction mission, you have the supply lines mission rule. And in this mission, a player only receives the Battleforge CP bonus at the start of their command phase if they control the objective marker in their own deployment zone. So that could also be a way to, like, if you're going to get stuck in back there, you can steal that objective and like, oh no, now this guy is not getting his CP every command phase.
So how does 40k feel now? Right. That's interesting because we've changed just the missions, right? And not even in a sort of like really big way, while also not taken away from the core way we've been playing the game since the beginning of 8th edition, right? So, and one of the biggest, fixes, in my opinion, and I think in here in the podcast, right? Like when we went from 6th to 7th to 8th, and then we were all waiting to see if Frontline Gaming, what they would like the champion pack. We've been playing the ITC champion GT pack for all this time. Right, kill something, kill more, hold more, all that. Like, we've been playing that, and so we were all like, "Oh, we're gonna play GW book missions now." That's weird because we haven't been able to trust GW's book missions.
Yeah, I mean,
ages.
I was very vocally against these GT books when they were first announced. We were both like, eh. But then after we played it a few times, we realized GW got it. They did it. And really, right. I mean, I still personally feel like primary should be scored end of turn, but is what it is.
Well, yeah, sure. But ultimately, what GW's book missions did, the biggest thing they did was kind of like turn on units in our codexes. Mm-hmm. You mentioned it earlier, like this concept of playing the mission. It's not just about tabling somebody. It's not just about optimization of DPS or optimization of immortality or uninteractability. Things matter. Like you can see a role a unit has and achieve that role. The mission is most of that right now. I'll be
honest, dude. Like this is the first time I think ever that I've actually felt like 40k is a war game. It's like we call these games tabletop war games, right? But for a long time, 40k felt like a big sci-fi street fight. You know what I mean? Like where the only thing was to just beat your opponent down and get out of line.
Yeah, you basically set up a big pitched battle where two sci-fi futuristic armies stand across each other like the Revolutionary War era dudes and just beat each other up until someone dies.
Whereas these missions, I'd say even more so with the 2022 book, these missions feel like a war game where you got to fight a fight, but at the same time you have these guys doing this mission over there. And these dudes are like in the back, dropping behind enemy lines to call in reinforcements. And, maybe these guys are trying to find an enemy officer to interrogate him and get some intel and things like that. So it actually feels more like an actual war game with all of these moving parts and differing objectives than just hey, you guys want to meet up at noon and try to kill each other? See who gets points?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, man. And again, somebody mentioned in chat, Stiffneck, about there's a mission that you don't get to just innately do scout and infiltrator moves.
Yeah, and that was one I was going to actually talk about that one next. I like that one a lot too, because there's a lot of not a lot, but there's a good handful of factions that build their armies around scout deployments and scout moves because they are so tactically powerful. And now this mission is kind of an equalizer to that.
Yep. No, it's interesting. A lot of people are haters on this, but it's let me just take you a quick memory lane again. It's bro, back in the day, remember this, Rob? Mission special rules were what allowed us to do things like reserves, deep strike, infiltrate, knife fight. We had this set of rules, and so there's lots of units in the game that could infiltrate and do all these things, but not every mission let you. And that was just how you had to play the game. And then later it was any rule the guy has, you can do every mission. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad or a good thing. I'm just saying it's interesting that it's you have to plan for something beyond the theme of my army is to move my entire army before the game starts and oppress this dude with overwhelming force on turn one.
Right.
Except I can't do it every time.
Right. Yeah. So not every army can do that. Right. But when it does happen, because of the order of operations, where it's you find out who's going first with a lot of these scout moves. So you can scout deploy Nurglings and Space Marine scouts, infiltrators, things like that. Right. So you're not super worried about a unit of 5 Space Marine scouts coming in and just wrecking your business because they can't really. Right. But what does really hurt is he's got a lot of scout deploy units and he won the roll off to go first. And half of his army can get a free movement before his first movement phase. So he gets a double move. And then his whole stuff.
It's a check and balance. It checks and balances over overly imbalanced list design that leads to people feeling like they're why are we even playing this game? And so it's just one mission, guys. Give it a shot. I've actually played one of these missions. I played Tear the Icons Down. I played it last night on Dice Check live. So
was it inappropriate?
It was. It was inappropriate as always.
It's borderline.
Yep.
Yeah.
We played that mission with different lists than we normally play. I had 3 rhinos. Matt had over 100 models. He was rocking new GSE mixed with
cool.
Tyranids. So yeah, that's 2 billion Gene Stealers. We went head to head in this mission, and we both just picked Psychic Interrogation, a new with new wordings on it, right? No line of sight required to do it. So we're both going to pick it, even if I'm not even optimized. I like one guy who can do it, right? And I only have 2 characters. Even though he has multiple guys who can do it, it's not optimized for him because I only have 2 characters, right? So for him to max it out, he has to deliberately leave my guys alive, right? So we're both going to fucking do it. Who cares? Like shit like that. So we tried some of the new secondary, played this new Set the Bomb. It took us a second to realize you can do it in territories, not just behind enemy line style. Mechanic actually works pretty easy. I would say it's almost too easy is what we determined. Is like, so anybody look at that mission is like, oh, well, how am I ever going to do this bomb? It's actually really fucking easy. Like you just crest the center line and you're just like, I do it and it happens. And you can't put them within 9 inches of each other. Diffusing the bombs is kind of interesting because a lot of this stuff incentivizes objective secure rules because priming a bomb happens at the end of your turn. So basically instantly scoring if your objective is secure. It doesn't happen to your command phase otherwise. Any model in your fucking army can do that. A rhino can fucking do it, but not to your command phase. And diffusing it is not guaranteed. It's a 4-up. You got to roll 4 up. Any model can diffuse it. But if your objective is secure, add 3. You can't fail it, right? So a lot of objective secure incentivization because, like, straight up, I won that game because of a bomb I had. I won that game because of a bomb. And I was laying bombs the hobo way, dude. Like, I had a character who distracted the backfield, dropping bombs, waiting until command phases. I was like, if I was a little bit more optimized, knowing that missions like this exist, objective secure, so incentivized, I mean, like, shit, man, I could be dropping bombs like crazy. Yeah. So really interesting how easy it is to do. And it felt like once I realized how simple it was, I was like, this is fully primary 1A, primary 1B. This is a big part of fucking winning the game. It's not just like one of those, oh, and you get 3 bonus points because you killed 2 characters or some shit. No, this is fully the mission. Yeah. Like, so if you go into tear down the icons and you're like, oh, fuck, I don't have bomb lane units. Get fucked. Like,
yeah, it's important to know too that like it specifically is talking about the objective secured ability and not the troops battlefield role.
Yeah, it says.
I know that like even to this day, people in common parlance use those terms interchangeably, which is not always the case.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you're playing like Necrons with Relentless Expansionist, everybody's OBSEC, with exceptions. Same for Custodes, like everybody's OBSEC with a couple of exceptions. So you could have like one Alaris dropping a bomb auto pass, right? Because he's got OBSEC.
It felt good. How does 40K feel right now? It felt fucking engaging and fun. And
really?
Felt like I was doing different things than I normally did. And it is complex. Objectively speaking, the game, because of the mission, is more complicated than it used to be. That is undeniable. Because there's a new thing you have access to. It's a fact. But I feel like where we're at now, as like a group of gamers, a community of gamers worldwide, playing this game since 3rd edition, if you start this where you started, or even 2nd edition, or Rogue Trader era to now. I mean, like 3rd edition was a child's game. When you think about like what it was to like what we do now. Like we had 2 things we did, Rob, right? Oh, I'm going to set up to get to kill more victory points than you killed. Or I'm going to just wait, and then at the end of the game, I'm going to get all the objectives. Those are the only 2 missions we fucking played in 3rd edition.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And if you really think about it, they're the same fucking mission. Because it's end of game objective grabs, meaning I'm highly incentivized to table you. So you can't do that. And if it's victory point spread, kill, I am obviously trying to table you. So you just need to make armies that table people. That's it. That was 3rd edition.
Yeah, that was a lot of 3rd edition.
That's it. You know, so it's like, no, I feel like every year that goes by, every couple of years, like we evolve and we need more complicated game mechanics to feel more fulfilled as we play. There's lots of games that exist that are innately have less mechanics, that are more simplified. Those are still there, but like this is the most prestigious war game in the world, man. Like we have potentially 100 models on the table, man. I mean, just the other day on Dice Check, there's 150 fucking models on the table. That is all painted on sick terrain. Like this is the premium shit. And like, I like it to feel a little bit more fulfilled, and having to stop for a second to really think about it, you know, even just my first game, you know, like I was like, okay, I'm a little slow right now, like wrapping my head around the new mechanic, but like I loved it. It felt like a fully fleshed out, complete, as Wyatt said, war game experience. There was a reason to do these things. Like I sent my character into the backfield. It's like, in my head canon, I was like, the Lord of Contagion, you know, is like, all right, guys, we got to get back there and handle this. And they're like, bro, our position is about to get overrun by 100 Gene Stealers. And you know, we just heard this in. We got some fucking, you know, some of our comms towers went down, but it looks like there's some pure strains here. Like full incursion. He's like, all right, guys, hold the line. I will fucking do it. Like, I will step off the fucking teleport pad and I will drop in the backfield and I will fucking I remember I was training this just like you guys were. It's been a while, so it might take me a minute, right? You can't just insta fucking objective secure these things, right? He's like, but I'll get it done. It's like, yeah, dude. I was 100% RP in that, you know, mentally. Like, it feels good. You know, of course, they may have said some, like, you know, they might have said it more meanly because they're Death Guard, you know, but like, yeah. Yeah. You fucking coward swine. I hope you die in the meat grinder. I'll go handle this.
Yeah. I mean, it had to get done or else he would have gotten shreked by Abaddon because, you know, he's like the highest in chain of command. He's like, oh, if I don't do this, Abaddon going to be real mad at me.
He's like, shadow around butt with butt spiders feeling real good right now.
He's probably got a wizard that could do that to people he doesn't like.
Yeah. Yo. Sounds chaosy.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, so, I don't know. It's tight. I've only played one mission. I'm going to keep playing them. I'm excited.
Yeah. I'm super stoked to get into these missions and start like play testing and sink my teeth into them.
When are you going to start play testing for Cherokee Open?
Man, as soon as I get this stuff painted, I mean, like, saying earlier, I got like every model I hadn't already got paint on. I got assembled. I got some paint on it. So they're like a work in progress, but should have this army done by like, hopefully before next weekend and start doing some house hammer. We've got a local RTT on the 19th. So I get, you know, one competition in before Cherokee. It's going to be probably like a big learning experience though, for the first couple of tournaments that I go to this year with new army and new GT book. So dive
double dipper.
Well, fuck yeah, man. I'm excited. Like now I'm like, nothing like coming back from a big ass event to get the juices flowing, you know, to get right back out there. That's part of why I went up to Dice Check. I was like, yeah, let's get a game on camera, man. Like, I want
usually get you inspired.
Playing. Yeah. You know, I want to paint some new models. I'm feeling it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I will play a fucking Adepticon after all. I don't know. We'll see. I might paint a Demon Prince. I haven't painted a Demon Prince in a while, you know.
Ooh.
I had collected 10.
Return to form.
I gave a few away, and I'm like, do I need to paint another Demon Prince?
You know, as a Chaos player, you kind of have to. It's like, you got to be like, I got to do like one of these a year to kind of like maintain my street cred.
I mean, I used to have just a cabinet that was 11 Demon Princes in it. It's like, what?
Yeah, I have like 6 in my cabinet over there.
This is can't stop. So, you know, maybe on Twitch I'll be painting a new Death Guard Demon Prince, and I may go back to remember the old one, Rob, the first Nurgle Demon Prince we got.
The super metal chonker.
Yeah, a big pile of metal you can murder somebody with. Yeah,
100%.
Thinking about getting my hands on one of those. Painting him up. Put some wings on him or some shit. I don't know.
Stoked to see it.
But that's all I have. Rob?
Well, I'm happy to inform everybody that we did get a few patrons over the break, but we'll talk about that next time probably. So, but we're not at our goal of 100 yet. So if you like listening to us and want to help us get to our goal of 100 patrons so we can do some t-shirt promos and such, head over to thelongwar.net and become a veteran of the Long War today.